I feel like I've been gone forever. I missed you guys so much, and I'm back. I'm back to be ratchet, and I'm back to post all the cute videos for you. This tutorial is a really fun one. I experimented and was scared the whole time. I feel like I was squeezing my butt cheeks because I was like, this is gonna be really cute or it's gonna be really ugly. I don't know which way it's gonna go yet, but anyway, I saw a ceramic tumbler on Pinterest and I was like, yes, queen. So I recreated it. I will show you a picture of the ceramic mug at the end so that you can, I feel like if I show it to you now, it's gonna be hard for you to visualize my cup because I remade it, adding my twist to it. So I'm gonna show it to you at the end. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Leave me a comment. Of course, I love to read all the comments and I love you. Besitos. Thanks for being here. I love you. Do good do. One thing I can promise you is that my reviews are always going to be honest. This is the white primer paint, primer base from Hyperion. It's a great product for sure. I just think I'm probably gonna stick to either white chalk paint or spray paint, only because the price tag on this is a little high in my opinion for what it does. And you know, you're welcome to try it if you would like to. This is just my honest opinion. So what I did was I did 2 coats. I primed it and got it ready. I always do a white base or a base to match the color of whatever I'm gonna do, just to make the colors pop a little more. I started by taking a marker, and it doesn't matter what kind of marker you use. It could be an acrylic, permanent, whatever you want, because we're gonna glitter over this. And I went ahead and kind of drew little clouds at the top and at the bottom. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no specific measurements that you need to do. Let this be where you get creative and kind of either make it your own or just guess. You know, this entire tumbler I did without, you know, having a guide or anything. I was just using my imagination and trying to recreate this ceramic mug that I saw. And basically I just went in with this marker and created the swirls to separate where I'm gonna put my glitters and the 2 sections that I'm going to leave white for my alcohol ink, you know, watercolors. So right now I'm just kind of twirling it, looking at it, figuring out where I wanna put my swirls. If you do not get yours to be identical to mine, that's okay. I think that it's impossible to replicate things to where they're identical. And I think that's the beauty of art, is that anytime you do something, it's always gonna have a piece of you and your art in it. So this is just how I did mine. Just kind of, I was just eyeballing the picture of the beautiful mug that I saw on Pinterest and just kind of doing what I thought was going to get me the results, okay? So here you see me using Hyperion's base paints, and I am just kind of filling in the area where I'm gonna be doing my glitter. Now I am gonna do a pink and purple ombre. So I think that the pink base is gonna be fine for both colors. If I only did it over the white base, I think I would have to do 2 coats of glitter to get that vibrancy. But I think just with doing a pink base, it's gonna go well with both colors. There's a lot of people who like to glitter directly over a white base, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I think that as artists, we all have our own way of doing things, and I think that in the end, if you get a beautiful result, then it doesn't matter how you did it. You know, I respect everybody's methods. I personally believe that if I match my base with my glitter color, I'm going to get the most out of that beautiful color and that vibrancy, and my glitter color is going to pop a little bit more. So I always like to prime to match the colors. Now, the way that I sectioned out my swirls, I made it so that I have 4 sections, 4 wavy sections, and I'm going to do 1 pink, 1 white, 1 pink, and 1 white. And this is going to make it so that we are separating where our glitter is going to be from where we're going to do our alcohol inks and all of that stuff. Oh my gosh, look at this glitter. It's so beautiful. The glitters I'm using are from Maestra Creations, and of course, I'm gonna link them in the description with my discount code to save you a little bit of money if you want to. You don't have to, but you know, a few dollars that can be used towards McDonald's is always a good thing in my opinion. So I'm gonna use Helios glue to apply my glitter. Now, as far as Helios glue, I really like it. I really like Helios glue. I like the runny consistency. And another thing that could either be really annoying or really amazing is that it stays tacky. For me, I think that's amazing because Mod Podge dries so quickly and I always feel like I have to work fast with it. And so the fact that this dries and still stays a little bit tacky, kind of like tack it glue, it allows me to be able to have a little bit more time to work with my glitter. Hopefully that makes sense. So, but if you were going to do like a glitter, if you were going to do like a fabric cup or something, you'd have to be very cautious sealing it with this glue because any little fiber or hair could stick to your fabric cup since the glue does stay a little bit tacky. But I am a fan of this glue. I like the consistency very, very much. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating a beautiful glitter ombre. I'm starting at the bottom with my purple and then going in with my beautiful pink. Now, a good tip that I have for you guys is to always start glittering the edges and then angle your tumbler and kind of let the glitter cascade down naturally. That's what's going to create that beautiful ombre in the middle where they're going to mix and you're going to have a really clean transition in between glitters. I only did one coat. You see how I had a little bit missing there? All I did was add a little more glitter and press it down and it stuck because it still had that stickiness. And then I just kind of took my booger hooks and pushed down my glitter nice and good so that it wouldn't take too many coats of epoxy to cover. I did this method to both sides. I did the exact same ombre on both sides of my tumbler. All I did was reverse, like for example, on one side, I started with the purple on the bottom. And on the opposite side, I decided to do the purple on the top. Not a huge deal if you don't do it this way. I just thought it would be kind of cool to have like the reverse colors like that. But either way you do it is going to be beautiful because you're creating your own art. So once my glue was completely dry and I had dry brushed off any excess glitter, I went in to glitter my clouds. I'm using a very beautiful glitter from Maestra Creations. You're going to see how beautiful it is as soon as I sprinkle it on here. Like I mentioned, I'm going to link everything, guys. I promise it's going to be super easy for you to find everything. And I'm going to have some discount codes I don't have. But, you know, wherever I can save you a little bit of money, I'll do my best. Anyway, this is called Las Estrellas. That's the name of this glitter. And I just think it's so beautiful. It's like an opal silver hologram. I don't even know how to explain it. It's one of the prettiest colors I've seen. I was going to do white originally on the clouds, but I just thought this was such a pretty glitter and no regrets. No regrets. So for this video, I am not necessarily going to show you every single time I epoxy because I think for the most part, we all know how to get a top coat on a tumbler. If you don't, I do have a detailed tutorial called Epoxy 101, and I explain in detail how to apply epoxy to a tumbler and all the safety stuff. So I went ahead and went in with 40 mLs because I wanted a nice and thick coat to be smooth over that glitter. I let it fully dry, and the next day I came in with some makeup sponges from Walmart and of course some alcohol inks by Jen's Crafted Gems, my sweet beautiful friend. So proud of her for having her own line of inks, and I swear it's not just that I have a biased opinion because I love her. These colors are super vibrant and beautiful. And that's why I'm using the tiniest little drop because I want it to be like a pastel watercolor. And these inks are super concentrated and beautiful. So a little went a very long way. And here you see me kind of just dabbing with my little sponge, dabbing a little bit of pink. The reason you saw me using my scissors to cut off the square edges is because when you're doing what I'm doing here, which is patting down the color, when you have those square edges, it's harder for you to control where you want the inks to go, and then you have these harsh lines. So when you round out your sponge, you end up with a really beautiful, natural looking watercolor. I've always done it this way. I just think that it makes it easier for me, but I went ahead and went back and forth with a little bit of purple and a little bit of pink to try to get as much coverage on there as I needed. Now, the secret to making sure you have like a pretty little watercolor effect is 99% alcohol. Whenever you put 99% alcohol over inks, it has this beautiful reaction, and it also kind of activates it and makes it kind of create little cells, and it spreads out a little bit, and it just gives it this gorgeous effect. Now, if you feel like you went a little too heavy with your inks, you could always take a damp paper towel with just a little bit of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and pat it over your inks, and then go over that again with a dry paper towel. And that's going to pick up any color if you feel like you did it way too dark. So here you kind of just see me going back and forth until I got the effect that I liked. And I know you can see me dipping my little sponge in the alcohol. That's what's going to give you this really pretty watercolor effect. I'm obsessed. I let it completely dry, and with alcohol inks, you don't really have to seal them. If you just let them fully dry, you're going to be okay. So I just let them fully dry, and then I went in with my puffy paint. I literally could not figure out how I was going to do my swirls that I saw on the ceramic cup. Originally, I was going to try to roll little like snakes of clay and attach them, but I was like, that's going to be so much work, and then I have to paint them. And then I was like, oh my gosh, puffy paint. So, and I have boxes and boxes of puffy paint because I've been doing glitter drips with them since last year, and I just got obsessed and bought a ton. So I have a whole bunch of them. I get them at Joann, and I decided to just divide the alcohol ink from the glitter. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, at the end, I will show you the ceramic mug that inspired this look, and you will understand how I came up with like these little swirls and why I incorporated them. It's because they're on the ceramic cup. So it was a very big part of the design, but I didn't just want to have the puffy paint. I wanted to add like a very special touch. So we're going to sprinkle some glitter over this when we're done. Guys, the good thing about this, okay, is that you can wipe off, if you're doing this and you feel like you're not getting nice swirls or you're not liking how it's coming out, just use a paper towel and wipe it off and try again, because the puffy paint is wet. It takes a little bit to dry. So you can just wipe it right off and try again. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. It doesn't have to be like, there are some areas where I was squeezing the puffy paint and it was a little thicker in some areas than others, kind of like me. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. This is handmade art. The swirls are made to look this way, and you're going to sprinkle glitter over them. So please, please do not be too hard on yourself. This is going to add a really cool effect, and it's just impossible to keep your hand 100% steady and see, make it super perfect. There were a lot of moments where I had to go back and forth and kind of just wipe some off or go back and try to even out the amount. And this was really fun though. Like, I want to continue to do this. Originally, I wanted to use gold, but I didn't have any gold puffy paint. I couldn't find any on Amazon, and I thought, you know what? That's okay. We're going to make it different anyway, so let's just go ahead and use pink. But guys, if you think about the possibilities of what you can do with this design, I mean, you can do blacks, purples, green, and endless possibilities. So here, you just see me following those swirls and creating more. Now, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, those are not perfectly even and perfectly separated from one another, which is totally fine. That's not it. They're not supposed to be. This is just supposed to be a very cool little design, and it is supposed to look like you handmade it. Like I said, I'm going off of the ceramic mug, and on the ceramic mug, the swirls aren't perfect. It's beautiful. And I tell you this because I know that as creators, as artists, we can put so much pressure on ourselves for things to be flawless and perfect. And that's not the point. The point is for you to create something beautiful, something that resonates with someone. So just create and don't put too much pressure on yourself, because you're going to take the fun out of it for yourself, okay? So just create. Just create. Don't hate. Create. Don't hate. Create. So as you can see, I did just a few swirls, and then I decided to create those little squiggly patterns that I saw on the ceramic mug. And I did only a few, and they're not perfect. They're not all even. They're not all the same size, and the cup is still very beautiful. So Just once again, no pressure, guys, just have fun. And then I took bubblegum, which is one of my favorite Maestra Creation glitters, and I sprinkled it all over. Now, my advice to you is, obviously our natural instinct is to want to brush off all the excess glitter that landed where it's not supposed to be. However, I would highly recommend that you just set this cup aside for a couple of hours until the puffy paint is completely dry, and then you can come in and brush off the excess. I have made the mistake of trying to brush off excess before, and I have accidentally touched the wet puffy paint with my paintbrush, and it's just messed everything up. So I recommend just let it sit to the side and let it dry by itself. Sorry if you can hear Charlie's paws, he's walking right next to me. Anyway, let it completely dry, and then when it's a fully dry, brush off all the excess, and it comes right off. Here is what it looks like when I completely let it dry and then brushed off all my excess glitter. All of these really beautiful decals I found on Creative Fabrica, and I think they're super cute. I think they really brought together the whole look. I also got this vinyl. I believe I got this vinyl from Amazon. I'm gonna find it and link it for you guys in the description, but any really beautiful like silver holographic-y is gonna work perfectly. Even if you wanted to use like a purple holographic or something, I think something like that would also be beautiful. I really wanted to use silver, and because there are some little specks of glitter that I'm gonna add later on. But for now, I'm just kind of adding all these little patterns, these little stars in different little areas. There's no rhyme or reason, just kind of fill in some negative spaces. You're gonna do the same thing to the other side. And I decided to add some special little touches on the bottom of the tumbler in just random little areas. My little stars, my little spiral, my little polka dot, my little stars. I think it's so, you guys, I'm so in love with this cup. I just cannot remember the last time I was this excited. I feel like I've let myself get so overwhelmed recently with work that I just feel like I was always rushing. And now that I've gotten all of my like engagements out of the way and lots of the traveling for work that I had to do, now I feel like I have this stress off of my shoulders and I can just get back to creating. So I'm a happy girl. I used this metallic marker, which I will link. It's from Amazon. And I used it just to do little polka dots all over the cup. Not all over the cup, just all over like the alcohol ink area. And I love the polka dots. I know it's kind of hard for you to appreciate them. Also, I know the camera keeps focusing on my hand, but guys, the polka dots added such a freaking cute touch. And then I'm using these beautiful little glitters. One of them is from Michael's, the one that's like the really pretty like stars that look like little sparkles. Those are from Michael's. And then the little tiny stars, those are from Maker Flow. Now I am using just regular glitter art glue and using a Q-tip to put little polka dots in different areas. And I'm going to use a wax pen to pick up those individual little pieces of glitter and place them in the areas where I want them to go. I think that that's going to create a really beautiful sparkly effect, and it did. These glitters are so sparkly. Do this on both sides of the tumbler. Do as much or as little as you want. And then when you're done, seal your tumbler just like you would normally seal it with any sealer that you use. Some people use Rust-Oleum clear spray, Mod Podge acrylic sealer, whatever your method is, go ahead and do that. I always seal my cups 3 times just to ensure that nothing's gonna budge. I didn't want the pink glitter on the puffy paint to move, and I didn't want my little sparklies to move. So I went ahead and sealed it 3 times, let it dry, and then did 1 coat of 30 mLs of epoxy. When that was dry, I did another 30 coats and cleaned it up, let it cure, and I ended up with this gorgeous, gorgeous tumbler. I hope that you love it. In a second, you're going to see a little pop-up of the original acrylic mug that inspired it. It's from this cute little place called So Super Awesome. I found them on Pinterest, and I immediately knew that I needed to recreate this as a tumbler. I hope I did a good job. I hope that you love this cup as much as I do. And thank you so much for watching. Besitos!